Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to Dumb SEO Questions, episode 189. Each week we meet here to answer the questions asked on the SEO Questions community on Google+. With us tonight we have Edwin Jonk. Edwin is CEO of IDEST in the Netherlands. You can find Edwin at idest.nl. Masatake Wasa is webmaster of wasaweb.net and also a Google top contributor on the AdSense community. He can be found at wasaweb.net. Micah Fisher-Kirchner is a regular on the speaking SEO circuit. He's also the Senior SEO Manager for Zendesk.com in the United States. And Tim Capper is CEO of OnlineOwnership.com. He's also a Google top contributor on the Google My Business community. Okay, our first question tonight. Just have to click that button. Is content marketing a good way to build backlinks? It's posted by Karen Sharma, and Karen went on to say, how are these activities doing? 1, profile creation. 2, forum comments, I guess he means, or blog comments. 3, forum posting. And 4, citations.
Content marketing in certain ways can be great to help build backlinks. It's great to build. It's getting people to understand more of your site, the thought leadership that it can develop. That said, kind of from the activity side of things, that those profile creation, comments, forum posts, and citations. If you're thinking about it from like the use of SEO sites, those are not exactly ways to try to get backlinks. But if you're talking about it as part of a content marketing effort on your own site for getting more profile created or more comments, user-generated content of value, of course, not like generally good post. Those are things that are helpful. And was reiterated by a couple of Googlers recently as well about the value for having those being, or I should say, those being a value add to posts, oftentimes. So, it does definitely depend on kind of the type of marketing efforts that you're doing and what the end goal is. But on its own, that you still will need some form of outreach and promotions of your content so people can hear about it. Just content on its own, it's not necessarily going to lead to higher rankings necessarily.
Yeah.
Okay. You go into.
Also, to sort of look at your site in this regard, a site that is never going to attract a natural link. If your content is crap, if your products are crap, if your pages are crap, if the user journey is crap, you're never going to, who the heck's going to want to link to you? So, for sure, create content, but it needs to be something that somebody wants to link to. The easiest way, if you are trying to build links, if you're trying to do outreach, and your offering, your site, your products, your pages, your content is diabolical, no matter what you're outreaching to, they are probably going to look at it and go, well, to be honest, don't really want to link to that. And ultimately, you end up having to resort to, unnatural link building. In essence, a natural link is somebody that wants to link to that site because it adds value to what they're talking about on their site. Pretty mediocre, or you're below par in your offering, and people aren't going to want to naturally link to you. So the whole essence of this is to create something that somebody feels within that genre, within that space, that they are happy to link to, because even your outreach is not going to work if they're not happy to link to it. It's as simple as that, really.
Yep. Anybody else? Well, I think those two responses covered it for Karen Sharma. And I see that Karen also asked Dave Elliott, one of our forum heroes that answers questions through the week, what is he doing? I think he's doing SEO for at a very high level for a company in the UK. But Dave can tell us all about that anyway. All right, our next question, number 2 on your run list from Amit Kumar, how to optimize a site and its URL. Amit said, hi, I have a 2-page website. One is the home page and the other is a service page. The service page has 6 services boxes, and when I click on a particular box, a pop-up appears which has content for that particular service. And when I see the URL, it's like www.example.com/services/hash. So I just want to know how to optimize that site and its URL, and how to check traffic in Google Analytics. Thanks. Who's going to talk about hashbang horror?
If you've got a 2-page site, there's not really much in the realm of optimization for SEO. You're going to need more than just 2 pages. You don't really have a website. You just have 2 pages. That's a larger issue in its entirety. If you're looking at how to check the traffic, so and kind of on the whole, anything after the hash is not going to be valued for the most part. There's some exceptions if you've established some JavaScript setups, but for the most part, yeah, depending on if you're wondering if the pop-up content factors into the page, I mean, it'll depend on how it's all set up in the code, but for the most part, yeah, you've got a 2-page site. You need more pages. You need to talk about a lot of your services that kind of matter a bit more than just, how are you optimizing for 2 individual pages on the whole.
So there are 6 services and only 2 pages. Wouldn't it make more sense to have a page for every service? Or?
Yeah, you should. The person should split it out. Just kind of each individual service, and then details further of what what you do for those and what situations.
It was quite popular to have that one-page website, right? That's quite tricky, where you scroll down and then people saw the services and new content and stuff, and that's is quite tricky in the sense of SEO.
Well, I mean, it's not just tricky in the sense of SEO, but tricky in the sense of for users. I mean, if you're wanting to, you know, if it's not showing as a new page, and you want to go back to some other page, how do you?
And you can still have separate pages and then have them load on your one-page homepage, right? So that there are some technical things you can do.
Yeah.
But I would, for every service page, I would have a separate page, so that it is clear for Googlebot to crawl down and see what the content is, what the theme is, what the service is basically, and then rank that particular page appropriately, instead of having one page or 2 pages for 6 services.
Yeah, so summing up, I guess Amit really should redesign his site rather than try to make something of what he has now. It might be just it might be easier to build a more run-of-the-mill site. There's a reason why everybody else is doing it differently. And if he wants the traffic, he'll have to conform. Does that sound fair? Probably not. Okay, let's go to the next. It's from Nishant Desai, who's asked questions of us in the past. It's titled SEO for Videos. I'm really interested to hear this because what Nishant is asking, it really applies to our SEOquestions.com site. And while Dan and I have done a little bit here and there, I'd really like some guidance on how we can improve and do better. Anyway, Nishant goes on to say, hello all. One of my clients has a website that has only videos as posts and contents. Which SEO activities should be carried out to get keyword rankings and more traffic on the website? Thanks in advance.
Yeah, you need content to describe what's going on. Just a title and a video is pretty much a blank page. Yeah, if you're looking to, you basically need some written context to describe what the page is about, what's going on, and that can be often either a transcription from the video. That can include overall summary and information about the video and kind of the in-depth area for it. Having a video itself is not necessarily going to provide the full value and weight to be able to rank and get the traffic that you want to your website. It's basically kind of difficult for Google to go in and understand what's being spoken within the videos. And at the same time, you have to consider how someone talks is not necessarily the way that people want to read. So having to clean up what is spoken, it's going to as well matter, because in a more verbal setting like myself right now, using a number of ums is not necessarily something you want to transcript and have written into a page. A lot of pauses and ellipses is not something that users on the whole are going to want to actually read through, and it's not, the grammar structure is going to be different. So that's at least kind of for that content side. The other side, of course, is then, how are you? Where is that having with the promotion standpoint? Thanks, Masatake. Yes, the hidden and subtle intricacies of the video of me waving my hands also doesn't come out when it comes to the scriptive element. So yes, you can go beyond just what's being verbally spoken, but as well kind of having fun with that. Nonetheless, promotion and outreach, as we just saw a little Twitter thing pop up, is another way to kind of get people to hear more about it, and if people are excited and interested in what they see, they're more likely to talk about it, link to it, promote it elsewhere to help kind of drive that additional traffic and rankings in turn for your content in the end overall, whether it's in aggregate the video and the written content altogether.
Yep.
And schema markup, right? YouTube does use schema markup, so you need to check if you're hosting on YouTube, what YouTube is using from the descriptions and basically the video page for their schema. So then you can optimize that a little bit. And if you're embedding that on your own page, of course you can use your own schema markup.
Interested to know the thoughts of Masatake and Tim. You know I never call you guys out, but I'd like to know your thoughts.
I think Mike and Edwin have covered the grounds. In that, I think you need to have a whole context surrounding the video, and that would normally be some sort of textual content. Be that detailed schema markup, or transcription of the thing, or summary, or even perhaps an introduction of who's in the clips, for example. That might be interesting. So I think there are things that Nishant and anyone who has video content can do on their site, because what you need to, I think, build is, in a sense, a whole context surrounding the clip, so that there is an added value both ways, if that makes sense. That if someone's going to come and watch the video on your site, then there's something on that website that makes that video more valuable, in a sense, and vice versa. If someone's coming to the website primarily, and then there is a clip, then that clip augments, if you like, helps to make more sense of the content on the website. So, to me, personally speaking, I think it's important to think not in terms of how do I get this video clip ranking well, but it is about how do I add value both ways, so that both would benefit, and how both are likelier to appear higher in the results and be more relevant to the user query. Hope that made sense.
It does.
If you go to semrush.com, go to their blog, go to their webinars, and they are very, very good at marketing all their stuff. For example, they'll take their Twitter chats and create it into a full-blown article, and they will also use their webinars, which are of course just videos, and they will section them out and create them into full-blown articles to accompany them. So if you want to see how someone is doing it really, really well, SEMrush, go and take a look at their blog and their webinar pages.
Oh, thanks, Tim. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the next. Thank you. I got something valuable from all of you, I think, and I'll act on it this week. Our next question. We haven't got many tonight. I think 5 questions. Oh, Mike, you're heading off, are you, mate? Safe journey to work.
Yep. Thanks. Take care, guys.
Okay, mate. Here's a question from Vivek Joshi on evaluating, or it's titled Evaluating SEO Tasks. He asks the best way to know whether my website SEO has been carried out correctly or done perfectly.
Well, there's quite a few places that you can tools that you can do a site audit. You can use SEMrush, you can use Moz, you can use Screaming Frog, you can use Virtual SEO Studio, you can use ISS from Microsoft. The thing is that you still need to interpret or be able to understand what the tools are providing you, what information is providing to you. So if you kind of don't have, if you kind of aren't sure that if your site is actually, if your SEO is done properly, then perhaps you won't understand these auditing tools, because you still need to interpret what is being provided to you. So yeah, it's a little bit of a catch-22 in that sense. Out of all of them, I would say SEMrush provides a very easy to understand format, but there are cases where it'll say this is a duplicate, but you need to actually double check because, for example, it may not have honored a rel canonical tag, and therefore it's showing it as a duplicate, but in actual fact you've handled that page correctly. So there's issues like that. There's another one, Varvy, which is a free tool, varvy.com/tools/. That's only page by page. It's not. It doesn't like crawl site wide. But you can pop a particular URL in, and it will give you a breakdown on that page in terms of images, H1s, H2s. The content, any broken links, that might be a nice, easy, friendly way, because it just gives you kind of the sections with little pictures and diagrams to explain things. So depending on the size of your site, that may be a way just to double check your sort of top line URLs, maybe a couple of internal pages. So yeah, some ideas for you.
And I also think there's SEO is not done perfectly, right? First, it's not done in the sense like it's checkbox and everything is done, and it's never perfect, right? It's always ongoing, and you try to improve your website or your web page over and over again.
Oh yeah. It's like for example, let's say you chuck your site into the Google's page speed tester, and you get like 70 out of 100 or 80 out of 100, and then it says suggest these and these. Sometimes you may not be able to correct those simply because of the platform or that you've created your site on. So it's like I said, all these tools is about understanding what it's telling you, interpreting it, and seeing if that can be improved upon or not. You know, so yeah, it's about understanding it and interpreting the data, you know, it properly.
Yes. All right. Let's call that answered and move to our last question for the night. And Victor Castillos said, hello, this is not an SEO question, but you guys handle Google Analytics, so you might know. One of my customers has an old website, and in his website I can see the Google Analytics tracking code. He doesn't know anything about it and has no info about his developer. Is there any way that I can have access to this analytics information, or save this account or import from this account? I only have the code, no more info. Thank you for all the help.
Yeah, I was going to say same as what Suraj has suggested, is contact analytics support. So essentially, analytics support will say, okay, yeah, we see that. Now, they will more than likely, one, request that you add something into the site, into the source, so that they can verify that you actually have control of that. They may also want to speak to the actual owner in terms of just to verify that they this business by telephone is the actual owner of that. But basically, once they can establish that you have control of the site itself, they, unless that account was used, let's say it's a multiple account, like for example, that developer may have used to install analytics into tons of accounts. So it all depends on how it was created. They may be able to separate out that and allow you to create a new analytics account with the same tracking code. But essentially, you're going to have to phone them because it all depends on how the account was created. So give them a call. Obviously, you need to verify that you have control over the site. They may ask some other verification sort of things, but if they are able to, they should be able to allow you to transfer that tracking code into the new analytics account that you set up. So that's your way. Your first step is to call them and then take it from there.
Excellent. Any ideas on how I can track down the owner of a AdWords code? Just to give you the history, one of my clients has found an AdWords, an AdSense. Sorry, yeah, I should have said AdWords code. It's AdSense. He's found AdSense ads on a couple of his sites, and he asked me to find out where they came from. It's not a site that we host, so I couldn't be much help. But I did find the code, but I've tried all manner of searches, and I can't find the code anywhere else on the web. But there is a tool somewhere that searches source code, isn't there?
Yeah, there is a third-party tool that looks for the same publisher ID. But even if you figure out that some other site uses the same AdSense account, that isn't really going to get you any closer necessarily to the person who actually owns the AdSense account. There's really no way of knowing whose AdSense account it is.
Okay, and by the way, as Tim said, I thank Siraj Gadagay for being one of our forum heroes to answer the questions through the week and make our job so much easier each Thursday night when we come to summer. All right, I'll just tweet that. And let's go to the next. We've done it again, guys. We've answered all of the questions asked on the SEO Questions community for the whole of this week. In some ways, I'm a little bit glad that we don't have as many questions as we used to, but you know, in other ways, yeah, I'd like to see more. I don't know. Anyway. Well, that's what we're fed. That's what we have to work with. All right, David Rozam found this one and shared it. How Google sees links from other languages and countries. Yeah, sorry, what's wrong? Go ahead, Tim.
Well, you have questions on the Dumb SEO Facebook page now.
Yes, we should add them in too.
Yeah, as that grows, you should include them in. But I don't want to go back to six hour freaking hangouts. Do you know what I mean?
No, I don't want to go back to six hour hangouts either. But yeah, it seems to me that we can help more people if you know, more people stumble across us. Or maybe we've, what have we done now? 189 episodes. What's that? Almost 4 years now. Jesus. Am I thinking straight? Is that right? 189 episodes, one per week. That would be, well, certainly 156 would be 3 years. So yeah, we're very close to 4 years. Anyway, David Rozam has joined us. David is a copywriter of 30 odd years standing and an SEO for the last 12, I think. David can be found at writingforseo.org. Sorry, go ahead, David.
It will take a decade or two, yes.
I have no idea what he said.
I think it will take a decade or two.
All right. Okay. Now, yeah, David can be found at writingforseo.org. All right. Well, you posted this one, David. We're up to question 6 on or number 6 on your run list, which is an SEO news topic. And it was, here is how John Mueller said to handle links from other countries and languages.
Yeah, this is one of those SEO old wives' tales almost, that some people get hung up about links from other countries or sites in other languages, and I think this is from another hangout on air when John Mueller said that that they're fine, don't worry about them. You just treat them like any other incoming links. If you've got them and they're from reasonable sites, then be happy.
Yeah.
But how do you know that that particular Russian site is okay?
It depends how many porn pictures it has on it.
Because you cannot understand the language, right? So you don't know if it is spam or not.
Well, there's always Google Translate, isn't there?
Yeah,
you might about half of it. Yes.
Do you need Google Translate for a porn picture, David?
Yes, all the time.
Okay. All right. Let's tweak that and move on to the next. And this one is how Google handles a site when it changes topic focus. That was an interesting one. I won't attempt to read out the whole. Oh well, I will. I'll read the first paragraph out anyway. The question was, let's say my site has been touching different topics at once and I decide to focus on one topic, i.e. doctor profiles. But before I had pages about diseases and hospitals. How would Google see this change? In my opinion, it's an improvement, but would Google see?
Yeah, this was about whether you need to change your site, put it on a new domain. If you change the way, if you change the content of your site, the answer is Google expects a site to evolve as time goes by, so it won't be the same as when you started it. I think it depends on whether this is a natural evolution or whether you change from doctors to I don't know, jazz, say. If it's got nothing to do with the previous content, then I don't think there's very much point in carrying on like that. But certainly, if you refine the targeting of your content, then that's fine, and it's another one of those that possibly is rather obvious to us, but people do worry about things like this, and I think it's a kind of thing that people do worry about, and I think it's nice to see Google saying don't worry about it.
Okay. Anybody else on this one? Okay.
Masatake and Tim have both gone off to plot against me, as you can see.
Okay, let me.
Well, just in general, I wouldn't be blogging about everything, right? I didn't watch the Hangout on air from Webmaster Central, but if you're going to blog for everyone so you can rank for everything, that's not a good strategy. That doesn't work anymore. Stay on theme, right?
Stay on theme, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Edwin. Okay, our next is a post from Edwin from on the Google blog, and a quote from that article that we sent more than 4.3 million messages to webmasters to note them of manual actions we took on their site and to help them identify the issues. Also in that article, more than 400,000 spam reports were submitted by users around the world. After prioritising the reports, we acted on 65% of them and considered 80% of those acted upon to be spam. And everyone said, so spam reports are a waste of time. No, I don't think so. Federico Sasso made a comment. Anybody else?
Oh, actually, Federico did the math. What was it? From all the spam reports, 52% are submitted. So that's your chance.
Yes, it was actually quite an epistle that Federico wrote. He asks a good question too. How many people are powering the web spam team?
It has to be more than a couple of hundreds, right?
Well, I think they got the guys in Switzerland and also an outsourced sweatshop in India, haven't they?
Well, they are in Dublin, that's for sure. And in Mountain View, of course. Those two places we know. Yeah, there has to be more people than just those two. So I don't know. 12,000 penalties a day, manual penalties. That's quite a lot, right? You cannot do that with a few hundred.
Yeah. Well, it depends, doesn't it? The question to ask is, how long does a review take?
Yeah, and I also think that people that are working for those web spam team, they have to relate, right? If they are only focused on manual penalties every day, all day, they're going to have quite a negative view, and more false positives will be made. So my guess is that they are rotating between different jobs, right?
What other jobs would there be? because the assumption is that you have to be reasonably well trained to make a good judgment, so that the judgment that if you say this is pure spam and we're going to send this site manual penalty and notification to that effect, then the person making a decision, or the person overseeing the person who's making a decision, have to be certain of that decision. You can't just have someone just pressing buttons and oh, it's 10 minutes to lunchtime, I'm going to mark all of these as spam and then I can go to lunch early. So it is a reasonably high-skilled job in that sense, I think, because you have to be able to judge, you have to be able to exercise judgment set against the rater guide and I suppose other things that they must have to identify what they consider to be spam. So, and yeah, I honestly don't know how long they're going, how well they're trained, how well supervised they are, how much time they, how much time they have in order to make a informed decision, as it were. It's all a bit mysterious, isn't it?
Yes, we know quite little about it.
Yeah, I mean, there's been various mentions from different engineers around the world, talking about the role of judging a manual penalty. Another job that they do, Masatake, is writing up the documentation that we have. I mean, the Google guidelines, they're being revised and updated from time to time, and the blog posts that they make. I mean, this blog post that we're discussing, it's not exactly what I'd call sort of heavy metal, but they have made some good, strong, good, useful blog posts from time to time in the past.
Yeah, I think in many cases, I suppose the decision's quite easy. It's either clearly in violation of the guidelines, therefore manual penalties levied, or it is clearly a false report. But then there are going to be cases, and given the numbers submitted, in absolute terms, those figures are quite large, that are difficult, that will require people making a decision. So it would really be interesting to know how the whole thing actually works.
Yep.
Obviously, they're not going to tell us, but it would be really interesting to know.
True.
Yeah, and a lot is handled automatically, right? Those hacked sites, the Finlow content, the scraped sites.
Yeah,
And they
I think a
also
lot
have
of it
an
is automated.
from remembrance, I think they can also partly take a manual action against a particular page. I think that was done against Mozilla in one of their forums. It was overloaded with locksmith or other spam, and they only took out that particular page, I think.
Yeah, wasn't the BBC one as well? Something like that. There's another sort of media company one as well. There's just one page or 2 pages that received.
Yeah, so if the site overall is okay and they are not going to punish the whole site and only the those pages where they do manual action on.
We must have offended David Roseanne. We've lost him. Okay, so let's check out something else. I'll just tweet this. This one, Google adds new instant content feature in search results. Oh yes, I think this was to do with politics, wasn't it? Google is testing to expand the candidate cards won for publishers. And in March, Google also tested the same cards for local businesses. I'm not really up with this, guys. I'll have to throw it open and let you tell me all about it.
Well, I'm a little busy with the queue times.
Oh, you're doing them, are you, Edmund?
Yeah. From question 5 on, it's done.
Thank you.
Basically, when the presidential elections began in the USA, Google started using which we call candidate cards. Those, if you Google candidate, you get a little carousel with cards with information from that candidate, presidential candidate. In March, they extended that to a couple of local business, and they tried that, and now they are moving towards news, basically towards publishers. Where probably these cards, they are posted on a Google property, in this case posts.google.com. So they're not hosted on the news site or on the candidate sites or on the local business sites or on Google Plus or on Facebook or whatever. They are posted on posts.google.com. And the articles are limited to 14,400 words. So I'm not sure how they can monetize that, right? Are they allowed to add AdSense?
I mean, the post.google.com thing is still sort of in beta, isn't it? So you can apply to become a publisher of that.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure about applying part, but it's really in beta, and Google has to welcome you.
Yeah, I thought if you go to post.google.com, then you can join the waiting list or something like that. So
okay.
Down at the bottom, there's a link. So at the moment, it's by invitation. I mean, it does seem a bit odd, doesn't it, that they're now having, if you like, a third platform for local business in particular, in that you have the old sort of the remnants, if you like, from the places, maps, those kind of thing, information. On that side of things, you have the Google Plus being separated at the moment, and now you have post.google.com. It seems to be sort of I think there's a bit of overlap between those, and it's just going to be confusing for people.
So people are queuing up to provide free content for Google.
Yes.
Oh. Wow.
You would think they could afford to pay for it, wouldn't you?
That Google pays the publishers.
Google pays the publishers.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the question. Yeah, that's what I was wondering too. Is how do they monetize that, right? It is on Google, especially here in Europe. The European publishers and Google aren't really friends.
Yeah, so it's partly to keep people within Google properties, isn't it? So if you have this article thing, what you probably see is an excerpt from it, not the whole card that you're going to see immediately in the search results, right? Whatever was the word limit. So that's quite long. It's not going to be huge, but those are quite a large number of words. So
well, if you click through, you go to posts.google.com, and
exactly.
that can be quite a long article, 40,000 words. So that's...
Yeah. So people are not going to leave Google properties. So they go to Google to search, and click on something. They go to posts.google.com, so they remain within the Google entities. So I suppose it's partly that. It's a retention thing. And I don't know, are they going to add other functions?
Well, I think it is more to do with Google now, right? Because it has those card formats. It's now within Google Search as a carousel. But I can see this very valuable for Google Now on your phone, where you have those nice little cards, and if you follow, or if you want to follow the what was the example? The Washington, is the Washington Post? Then you can add that particular card, or if you want to follow a particular topic, then those cards will appear in Google Now. And these are the cards that appear, right?
Okay. Well, look, let's call that covered, and let's. Federico Sasso has released a more robust version of his Visual Studio 1.1. He said, "I'm delighted to announce that the professional edition is out of the beta stage and a full-fledged commercial software." He doesn't charge a lot for it. I'm just using it as a free version, but it's got a great sitemap generator, amongst other things. Any of you guys using it?
Using it is a little bit of a big word, but I tried it for sure. Not this version, the earlier version, and it did look nice.
It's a free download. I recommend you check it out. Any other comments on Federico's Visual SEO Studio 1.1?
Well, it looks great. And it's a little bit similar to Screaming Frog, where if the number of URLs that's limited, and in the professional edition it is not limited.
Yeah.
I'll try it out when he does the Mac version.
Mac?
Yes, yes.
It's only for Windows at the moment, I think, isn't it?
Yes, with a name like that, it's going to be Windows, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
And I see from Facebook, Tim Capper just added me to the public group Google for Small Business. Well, there you go. I see Michael Fisher-Kirsten is also a member. Okay. All right, so it looks like it's that time again. Yes, it's thank you for watching. We'd like to thank you for spending time watching us tonight, and we'll be back at the same time next week to do it all again, but for now, it's good.